Hey, you guys, it's Jessica here. So I go by, let's start it over. Hey, you guys, it's Jessica here. I go by Y'all Speaks, as you all know. So today I wanted to talk to you all about the Red Table Talks. And I specifically wanted to talk to you all about Jada Pinkett's Red Table Talk and Will Smith coming on her show. So I did a video a little while ago talking a little bit about just having your own show with Facebook. Hello there. I can't see who you are. But I did a video a while ago talking about having your own show on Facebook. And right now, Jada Pinkett's just announced that she will have her show renewed for 13 seasons. So what this means to all of us is that there is definitely a market. I think that what Jada Pinkett is doing is great. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the Red Table Talk and this last episode that they had that talked about sex, right? So I know it's really taboo. It's kind of something we shouldn't be talking about. Hey, Michael. But I wanted to talk a little bit about that particular show because there was something that she said that really struck a chord with me. So as you guys all know, the Red Table Talk has kind of taken over the Facebook world. I guess that's what we can call it, the Facebook planet. And on the Facebook planet right now, Red Table Talk is like all the rage. I see it being shared in groups. I see people talking about it on the street. A lot of my clients have been talking about it like, how can I have a show like Jada Pinkett? Well, here's the thing. Number one, Jada Pinkett has a large budget and Facebook is paying her to produce that show. So she has a large production team that can have all the cameras, all the sound equipment that she really needs to produce a show at that quality level. Number two is Jada Pinkett. So of course people are going to listen to her, right? So what I'm looking forward to with this new show and the next 13 episodes that they have coming out is the fact that she's exposing the life of a celebrity. She's really talking about those issues and those things that we kind of think in the back of our mind, right? That we think that since people have money that they're not suicidal or that they don't have to go through things. So this particular show is actually starting a dialogue even in my own home. So that was this is the reason for the Facebook Live. So, I was listening to an interview by Jada Pinkett and, she was saying how she was having suicidal thoughts. And my daughter, said, oh my gosh, Jada Pinkett had suicidal thoughts. And I said, yes, she did. And she knows I advocate for maternal mental health. I advocate for mental health. And one big piece of, I think, what people tend to miss when you have either those thoughts of suicide or you have those thoughts of depression is that when you're having a thought of taking your own life, it's because you're in so much pain and you don't know how to describe that pain to anyone that you just feel better off if you were no longer living. You feel like you're a nuisance to people. You feel ashamed. You feel, what's another word? You feel embarrassed, right? Because you're feeling like, there's people, if we look at our history, there's people that went through way worse things than what we are going through now. So you feel bad about even feeling bad. And when people are depressed, we just had recently one of my family members, her very close friend, who tried to commit suicide. And she ended up slitting her wrist and she didn't slit her wrist. She took pain pills. There was someone else that split their wrist. But this is what's happening right now in our society and in our environment. So Jada Pinkett actually coming out and saying, hey, I've had suicidal thoughts. Yeah, exactly. You feel as though if you could just get rid of that pain because you can't explain it. It's not like having a broken leg. With a broken leg, you can kind of go, okay, here's an x-ray, right? There's a broken leg. Or the way that I've explained it in a book that I'm writing for maternal mental health, it's kind of like getting, scraping your knee or scraping your leg. You might go out, you scrape your leg, and then you can kind of see that the blood is, flowing down. You're like, oh, you got to fix your leg. You need to put some Neosporin or something on it or a Band-Aid. But with mental health, with depression, with anxiety, there is no sign. There's no real big sign except for the mood change, except for the behavior shift. So there's no real way to say, let's just go ahead. And what a lot of people tend to do is they tend to start to self-medicate. They start to utilize different things and mechanisms and they take care of the symptom, but they never take care of the problem. So the problem still exists. So I'm getting a little bit off the topic, but I thought that was really important to explain that depression, even stigma. I'm sure that Jada Pinkett went through a large amount of stigma just around I'm a black female. I'm an actress. There's no way I could be depressed. Look at this. I have a big house and a mansion and my husband is hot as heck, like I'm sure she experienced that self-stigma, but it's really important to understand that self-stigma limits the ability to heal, but that doesn't lessen it. It doesn't lessen the feeling at all. So I wanted to make sure I've got that out. So I wanted to talk to you guys all about Red Table Talk, about her being renewed for 13 new episodes, and what that's going to mean for individuals like us who want to have our own show. So individuals like us that want to have our own show, what we're going to be able to do is we're going to be able to really position ourselves with the digital, within the digital space, so we can position ourselves to really grow our businesses, to grow, even have these conversations. What Jada Pinkett Smith is doing right now is she is really making history, because right now she's removing a large barrier. Like addiction, Michael said, like addiction, depression doesn't discriminate. It doesn't care how much you make, how little you make, and how much or how little you have, and where you are, where you come from. Absolutely. Absolutely. So absolutely, like addiction and depression. And it's funny that you said addiction. I'm kind of veering off, but you guys hang out with me. So like addiction, my daughter was talking about marijuana, and we all know that marijuana is legalized, right? And she was talking about how marijuana right now, it's like she's talking to her friends about marijuana being a drug. And a lot of her friends are saying, marijuana is not a drug. Marijuana is just, it's from the earth. This is an herb, blah, 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 blah. And she's trying to explain to them that, and so number one, as I'm listening to her talk, I'm proud, right? I'm like, yay, she's not smoking weed. She's not getting high. So I did something right. But then number two, she's trying to explain to them why marijuana is addictive. And I had to explain to her, well, let's look at this, right? Let's take a look at marijuana as a whole. You're not smoking marijuana just because, hey, it's marijuana, it's like cereal, hey, I'm just going to smoke a joint. No, you're smoking marijuana because you're trying to get rid of some pain or ill. There's something going on that you're trying not to feel. So it is addictive. It is very addictive. If it weren't addictive, then, and I told her, I said, tell one of your friends that's smoking marijuana, okay, stop for 30 days. For 30 days, don't smoke, and see if they can make it. And I was like, yeah, thank you, Michael. I know. I was like, yay. So she's sitting, but I'm like, too, like, how did you get in this circle? What kind of people are you hanging with? What's up with your friends? Right? Because why are you sitting around while everybody else is getting high? You're getting contact high, right? So then I had to explain that to her. But anything, there's a rap song, and I can't remember who said it. Don't hate me, but too much of anything makes you an addict. I think you could be addicted to cookies. You can be addicted to caffeine. You could be addicted to coffees. You can be addicted to chocolate. You can be addicted to a lot of things, and it's just the feeling. You're trying to get that feeling back again. So needless to say, I'm very proud of her. Moving back to Red Table Talk. So, on her show, or what she said, and I'm getting covered here, what Jada Pinkett Smith said that really resonated with me, and I wanted to make sure I shared it with you all. You all know I'm a mom. I'm a mom. I have 6 kids. I do digital media. I advocate for mothers and maternal health. When she said that she felt like she wanted to commit suicide, when Jada Pinkett Smith actually sat there and then said, I had to give up my career so I have this family. And at the same time, she had to watch her husband, Will Smith, have this big, he was flourishing, deals are coming at him from every which way. He's successful, but she had to stay back because she couldn't live her life. And I started to think to myself, I wonder how many women had to stay at home, take care of the family, and allow kind of the man to go out and live his life and do whatever, because they felt a duty, or they felt a responsibility. Another thing that she also said is that she felt like she wasn't herself. And I can attest to that for sure. You feel as though once you become a mother, and once you have this human being, and let's just keep it real, right? The experience of having a baby is an experience that is traumatic in itself, right? You have this human being that's coming out of you. You don't know this human being, but you love this human being beyond all measure. There's people running everywhere. They seem to only be concerned about the baby. And all they want you to do is get this human being out. At the same time, you're in pain, but you don't want the baby to be in pain, or you don't want anything to happen to the baby. There's all these different mixed emotions, and it's really very traumatizing. But we don't talk about that. We don't talk about the fact that we need to allow our mothers to have more time to just process the information and process the fact that I am a human being. I just gave birth to another human being, and now this person is going to depend on me for 18 years, if not more, of their lives. And what that means, what is this new space and place that I'm in? And once you have a baby and you have to adjust your life, you can't do the things that you used to do anymore. Now we're looking at a place in a space where you're like, who am I? Who is this person? Because everyone else around you is eating, they're sleeping fine, no worries there. But you, on the other hand, as the mother, have all of these thoughts that are going through your head. And while we're talking about thoughts, I want to just put that out there. If you have ever had the thought of hurting yourself, of hurting your child, of hurting another person, I know we joke around and we might say, oh, I'll kill you or whatever, those things. If you've ever had those thoughts, they're just thoughts. And the fact that you can come back from that thought, the fact that you can say, oh man, that was a weird thought. Why did I think that there's still hope for you. There is still hope. You're not dealing with schizophrenia or anything like that, right? It's just a thought. And not to say that now continuously, and of course you need to seek help if it gets too far, but don't bash yourself or make yourself feel bad or like, a bad human being for having a thought, because it is just a thought. That thought comes up from a lot of different things. It can be environmental. It can be media. It can be things you saw on TV that brought it up. There's so many different factors that can come into play as to why you may have had that thought. But the fact that you came back from that thought and hey, and you recognize it and you're aware means that there's hope for you and that you can move forward. So don't think that just because you have that thought, you have to stay in that thought or that thought is you, because it isn't. So I wanted to make sure I put that out there. So the fact that someone as, I'm going to just say it, as rich, right? Because she's rich. She like Oprah rich almost, right? Or she might be. I don't know the stats on her income or anything, but she might be Oprah rich or on her way to Oprah rich. I mean, it is her and Will, so maybe they together are Oprah rich. I don't know. But the fact that someone that has money can sit up there and say that as a mother, after becoming a mother, I had to lose my career and then I lost a piece of myself. And, I had to come to terms with the fact that I would be okay. And I didn't have to fit this perfect imagery of what a mother should look like, because you don't. Motherhood looks different for all individuals, for each woman. And you shouldn't have to feel as though you have to fit a certain makeup. I know that you see a celebrity have a baby and then the next week it's like she had a snapback. You're like, oh, what happened? Like, how did she get back to her skinny jeans that quick? And I'm still, here it is 6 months later and I got a gut. Don't worry about that. Because I kid you not, if you look at some of the women, and I say this in a lot of speeches that I do, if you look in the eyes will tell you everything that you need to know. Those women are gone. They barely even know where they are, but they have to continue to work and do this work, but they are gone. They're just like glazed over, like walking through life. And that's not okay. We should allow our mothers to have more time to heal after the experience of having and bringing in a human being. The experience in itself is amazing. It's even amazing and wonderful that we can do this, let alone the fact of the transformation that's happening with your body, because now your boobs ain't where they used to be. Your boobs or your butt's probably sweat. I mean, like, let's just keep it real. Things are moving around where they used to be nice and right. Now they're not. Now they're not. And you have to deal with that body issue. You have to deal with your mindset changing. You have to deal with so many different things that's happening in that space, in that place. And don't think you're alone. You're not the only one having those thoughts. Don't let your ego stop you from telling someone. Secrets keep you sick. And they thrive in the dark. Absolutely. And they die in the light of exposure. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's funny that you said the light, because Jada Pinkett talked about that. She talked about walking towards the light. Walking, good. She talked about walking towards the light and knowing that there is a light at the end of, the tunnel. If you've ever seen The Ring, when I go out and speak to like physicians and healthcare workers and, healthcare providers about postpartum depression, I talk about The Ring. And that movie, The Ring, is like the perfect description, the perfect visualization of what depression and anxiety feels like. You feel like you're in a well and you come out of that well and you kind of are functional. For me, I will tell the kids, hey, stop hitting your brother, stop hitting your sister, here's some cereal, do your homework, whatever. And then I go right back into that well. And that well is my room, which I kept very, very dark. I would watch reality shows all day and I just kind of lived a life of escapism through my postpartum depression, through the lens of the fact that I was a Black woman living in America where every single day I experience racism. I can tell you that there probably is maybe 2 days out of the week that I might not experience racism. Two, count them, 1, 2. That I may not experience racism. And those microaggressions, such as my dollar bill being checked at the store, being treated differently at the store, being treated differently when I go to the gas station, being treated differently even when I walk into my kid's school. People thinking that I'm automatically on food stamps or asking where my food stamp card is. It's those things that we encounter every single day that add to the level of stress that then contribute to us being stressed to death. We truly are. And I say this a lot in my talks. We truly are stressed to death. And that is where depression stems from. It stems from that stress. Now you may be thinking, now what does this have to do with Jada Pinkett Smith and how is she stressed? Think about the fact that she has Black children in a Hollywood setting or wherever she lives. I'm not sure. I think they might live in Atlanta. Can't remember. But you're dealing with all of that. Depression drives you into isolation. Absolutely. And that isolation kept me in a dark room, like the well, right? That was my well. And then I was the Black version of like The Ring, of that girl in The Ring. I would come out of the well like, and go right back into it. And so I had to be awakened out of that. I had to create this whole new awareness of myself, this whole new awareness of the fact that I don't have to be Superwoman, and in our community, we oftentimes categorize Black women as being Superwoman because we definitely have been in history. We've been those Superwomen. We've been those, the Harriet Tubmans, what's her name? Oh my gosh. I believe it's Jackie Robinson. It's not Jackie Robinson. That's a baseball player. Laura, I can't think of her name. But we've been the center of the civil rights movement. We've been the catalysts, right? We've been the ones that helped everyone else, ascend from slavery and escape slavery. We've been the one to stand out. However, we also need to understand that it's okay for us to step back and go, okay, now that I've saved all of y'all, who gonna come save me? Who gonna come, help me up when I fall down? No, it wasn't Rosa Parks. It was, and actually I'm going to look it up. Joanne Robinson is her name. Joanne Robinson. So Joanne Robinson was actually the person that put together the civil rights movement. And actually it's the person that selected, one of the people I should say on a committee that selected, Martin Luther King Jr. as the speaker and as the representative, right? And I want you guys to think about this in a business context as well, because I like to say I don't like to talk about depression to make it depressing, because that's not what I do. So I want you to look at this as a business context as well, right? When we talk about the civil rights movement, when we talk about Martin Luther King, he was an ambassador for people, but he went out and he utilized his voice. The whole reason why I utilize digital media is so that I can give the voice to the people that I felt for a long time are voiceless. I want to give a voice to those entrepreneurs, to those deep thinkers, to those big brains, to those individuals that have so much intellect that they don't know what to do with it. I want to give them a platform and a place in a space to really hand it out, to really inform other people, to bring awareness to the issues that they think are close to their heart. And that's definitely what Jada Pinkett Smith has done with the Red Table. Because I've seen it so many times, I thought that I would do some commentary on it. It was funny. I was having a conversation with my co-host on Boot to Boom, Ava Laura, and we have several conversations. We have these deep thought conversations. This is the first time in America, in American history, that Black women can actually say, I'm healing. I need to heal. I need wellness. I need mental health. I need to see a therapist. I need to, just light some candles, or I need to turn on some music and just be like, this is the first time that we're able to actually do that, because for so long we were treated as though we were invisible, and we were treated as though we didn't have a voice, and we were treated as though we didn't matter. When in essence, we are the beginning foundation of a lot of movements, of a lot of things. So with all of that being said, I think it's great what Jada Pinkett is doing, because she's starting conversations and starting dialogues. I cannot wait to see what her and Will Smith have to talk about, and I will definitely be back to share my commentary on that. But my commentary on this is, for Jada Pinkett, this is her therapy. And I want you guys to realize that. I want you to understand that. While we may be looking at it as edutainment, and we may be, all like, oh my gosh, it's amazing to watch her and watch her family. You have to understand that this woman is healing through this journey. This woman is utilizing this platform as a place for her to heal, as a place for her to build community around healing, as a place for her to move forward. She's putting it, and that's why I think it's a table as well. She's putting it all out on a table and putting it all out there, because she no longer wants to live in silence and hide behind, yeah, the truth will set you free. Absolutely. Yeah, we don't recognize how profound that statement really is. Absolutely. And I think that's exactly what she's doing with this platform. She is utilizing her truth. She is utilizing the red table talks as a way for her to have a therapy session, but in a large community session, because she doesn't want it to only help her. She wants it to help other people. The best and biggest way that you can heal yourself is to help somebody else. Is to share your story with someone else. Is to let them know that you too struggle. And I think that for her, because Jada Pinkett that's the girl right there. She is a home girl to the heart. And you can tell that still hasn't left. And what's so funny about that is, and Michael knows, one of my partners, Donna St. Louis, same thing. Money, everything, prestige. The girl is smart. The girl is intelligent. However, don't say nothing to her babies. Don't do it because she will slap you. She will cut you. She will have your head. So it really is. And you can tell that same thing is in Jada Pinkett as well. That Jada Pinkett is like, you know what? And she even does the hands. She does the hands. If you watch her body language, homegirl is real. Homegirl is real. And I love that. I love that she's able to be authentic, but she's able to share her story in a way in which it's going to help other people. It's going to empower other people and help other people. And that's kind of the reason why I wanted to sit down with you. And plus I have no kids here. Yay! I got no kids at home. My kids are gone. Well, I got to go pick up one because Jalissa can't stay overnight with my dad. She is not having it with her grandpa. So I have to go pick up my kids one kid from my pawpaws, from my dad's house, their pawpaw. But other than that, yeah, exactly. Michael says we will go. Absolutely. You mess with Donna. And I think it's the same way for Jada Pinkett Smith. You mess with Jada Pinkett Smith babies, it's a problem. And you can tell in her body language. She's homegirl to the fullest. And that never left. And I think, and she actually made a statement where she said that, for a long time, she felt like she had to get rid of the homegirl in order to move forward. And she said, I was trying to get rid of too much of myself and I shouldn't have. I should have kept it. And I think she's starting to pick it back up now. And I think that's why this community feel, this element of Facebook, where Facebook wants us to have more conversations and more community with the Facebook, what is it called? It's Facebook, is it Facebook Live show? Or is it Facebook show? It's something like that. It's some kind of categorized how they have it. But anywho, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I am going to go pick up my daughter now. Because I'm sure she's about to have a fit. But I really want you guys to understand. Oh, there's one more thing I wanted to tell you. Coping mechanisms. So coping mechanisms. Thank you. I know it's late. What are you doing up, Michael? So coping mechanisms. It's the same way that rappers use rap as therapy and rappers utilize stories in order to cope. I mean, if we pulled up some raps right now, not the new stuff, but the old stuff, the old rap. If we were to pull up that rap, you could see where they're just talking about things that were happening in their community. When we look at groups such as NWA, I'm on the West Coast, Ice Cube. If we look on the East Coast, we look at Nas and Jay-Z, and we look at Arabi and Rakim and, all those other guys. we look at those stories. Those stories were their coping mechanisms. That was talk therapy for them. And the same way that talk therapy is happening for Jada Pinkett, as well as her children, because she's bringing them on, as well as her mother. This is their talk therapy. We just love social settings. As Black women, as Black people, we love social settings. And it helps us to know that we're helping someone else with our testimony and with our story, which is why churches are a really big thing in our community. Because we need to know that there's someone else that we can help with the things that we've gone through. So with all of that being said, know and understand that this is more than just a show. This is a movement. This is a historical change in the way that we do television, in the way that we reach our consumers, in the way that we reach our clients, in the way that we build community. And we need to recognize it. We need to respect it above all else. So be very respectful with her platform, and just understand that the way that she thinks, you may not necessarily think, and that's okay. And understand that if you're having these feelings, and I feel like so many people always talk about the individuals that, if you see someone that's going through something, if you see someone who is thinking about taking their life, or if you see someone who may be going through depression or whatever, right? If you see someone, well, what if that person is you? If you yourself are going through depression, anxiety, if you are, and even in entrepreneurship, it's huge. Even as therapists, when you're in positions where you continuously have to deal with, or not, I wouldn't say deal with, you have to be in conversations with individuals who are going through traumatic experiences. It's very important that we take a look at those little T and those big T's, which are small, minor triggers, traumas, and the big traumas. So I feel like this wouldn't be complete without me telling you some ways that you can heal that. So the ways that you can heal that is really recognizing your body and utilizing your senses to heal. So deep breathing, meditation, listening to music. That's something that I don't see anyone else talking about. But music is one of the biggest and the greatest healers in the world, and it's universal. Music is universally healing. And that is the way that we healed during, slavery. That was really how we got through slavery. It was the music that kept us alive. By relating those messages through our music, the drums, the everything. So I'm going to digress on that a little bit without going into a history lesson. Scents. So lighting candles, taking a bath or taking a shower. I'm trying to think of some other ones that people don't really talk about a lot. Getting a massage, just taking that me time out for yourself, and understanding that me time is not selfish. Taking care of yourself is not selfish. You don't have to think about that anymore. And know and understand that therapy is a big one. But there's so many different ways to have therapy, and tapping as well. Tapping is a huge one. Know and understand that there's so many different ways that you can heal forward. Healing forward also means telling your story. So get out there and start speaking. Get out there and contact your local church, or even high schools. Dang it. You don't always have to speak for a free fee. I know I see so many people like, speak for a fee. Yes, if that's your business, absolutely. But if you just need to get some things off your chest, if you just need to heal forward, then get out there and speak to these young people. Of course, don't talk to them too much. Don't tell them too much of your business, but appropriate speeches. Talk to them. Let them know kind of what you've been through. Help them understand what they may be going through in that moment. Heal forward. Heal forward. That is my biggest takeaway. And stop self-stigma. If you yourself are going through something, speak to someone. And that just means picking up the phone. If you haven't spoken to your friend in a while, pick up the phone and call your friend. If you don't have anyone to speak to, contact me. I am in the DMs. DM me. I am more than happy to spend a couple of minutes with you now. I can't talk to you all day, but I am more than happy to provide you with some quotes or some affirmations, or just be a listening ear. You have to understand that there are people out here that are willing to help you, and in return, you need to help them. And that energy exchange is what's so gratifying. And there are studies that show that the best thing that you can do when you're going through either depression or anxiety, because your neurons are suppressed, is that you really need to have social interaction. And social interaction can happen in so many different forms. It can be virtually, it can be in person, it can be via phone. I mean, there's so many different ways that you can have that interaction. So really take note of that and understand that therapy doesn't always have to happen on a couch. Therapy can happen in many different ways. But you also need to make sure that it's positive therapy, right? So that's why it's a little bit safer to go with the people that have a degree in that. So I want to make sure I put that out there. That's a little disclaimer. All right. I've waited this way too long, but I hope it is helpful and useful to you. If you are watching this, know and understand and realize that there is hope. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. I know people always say it could be worse. I was talking to someone about this the other day. It could be worse. Well, it might be worse right now, but guess what? Right now you might be feeling the worst feeling. I guarantee you that I felt that way before and that there is hope and you can feel better. However, you have to step out of your comfort zone to try to do things differently than what you've done before. Know that there are second chances and know that life doesn't end until it does. But as long as you're here breathing, you are continuing to live life and there is still hope. And you still can impact the lives of individuals out there with your story and with your testimony. With that, you guys watch Red Table Talks. I will be back again when Will Smith comes on, because that one I'm definitely going to cover. And I will talk to you all soon. Wishing you wellness in life and in business. Oh, make sure that you go and like my digital feel good page, because this commentary, this space, will be happening on my Facebook page. So if you ain't there, you won't see it. I will be dedicating this particular place and space only for my Facebook friends and sharing information with Facebook friends. But if you want to listen to the commentary from here on out, then definitely go ahead and check out. And I'm looking for, hold on, my banner, the Digital Feel Good. Anyway, just go check out the Digital Feel Good and like that page. 30 minutes. Holy moly. This video was 30 minutes. Time passes when you're talking too much. Bye, you guys. Have a great night.